Hi guys, oh my god, can these Tories get any more out of touch with reality than this? So the Chancellor of the Exchequer, not some Tory backbencher, the frigging Chancellor Jeremy Hunt, tweeted out that £100,000 a year isn't really a high salary in the grand scheme of things. This is messed up on so many levels. Here he was on the Trevor Phillips show, engaging in mental gymnastics to explain his massive foot-in-mouth exercise. However, I still think he doesn't get why what he said was so egregious. Have a listen to this.
Do you regret tweeting that? It doesn't sound right, does it, to say £100,000 is not a huge salary?
Well, I was talking to a constituent who was pointing out to me that, what sounds like a large salary, when you have house prices averaging around £670,000 in my area, if you've got a mortgage and you've got childcare costs, it doesn't go as far as you might think. And she's right. It doesn't go as far as you might think. And that's why I want to give help to families. That's why the childcare measures are very important. We weren't able to afford to fund childcare for people on the highest salaries, but I was simply saying that's something I'd love to be able to look at in the next Parliament, but we can't afford to do it now.
My God. There are people who can't afford to feed their families, and Jeremy Hunt's priority, it seems, is, well, at the next Parliament, vote us back into power. The next Parliament, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it easier for people on £100,000 plus per year. Now, once again, this complete and utter disconnect, not understanding that there are people who are struggling to get by, to pay their bills, to feed their families. People on universal credit, people on benefits, who are getting into debt, not because they want to build a house or buy a new car or something like that, just to pay food bills. There's a new phenomenon of people borrowing money just to pay for food. This is absolutely ridiculous in a society that's supposed to have a social safety net. Now, he talked about a number of things here. Talked about house prices. Well, why are house prices so high? Because so much money has been transferred to the wealthiest in society over the last 14, 15 years that they have bought up all the assets. And because they're buying up all these assets, it drives up the price of these assets, and it drives the price of the assets in the area, drives up the price of housing. So, this guy is a landlord himself, so he has a few properties. He knows about this. But if people like him are buying up all these properties, it's driving up the price for everyone else, and it's driving younger people out of the market. So when house prices are up, part of the blame, not all of it, but part of the blame goes to the Tories themselves because of the policies they've put in place and because they've transferred so much wealth to the richest in society. He also talked about expensive mortgages. Well, his party is responsible directly for that. Liz Truss, with her mini budget, along with Kwasi Kwarteng, drove up mortgage prices. Now, he took over to try and bring that down or to sort that out, but his party is responsible for that. He didn't resign from his party over this. He took over. And finally, childcare costs. Well, the Tories are responsible for this as well because they're not providing enough funding over the last number of years to provide enough childcare places for people. But also, when it comes to a society where people have to decide whether they stay at home to raise their kids or they have to go out and work, and in many cases they have to go out and work because one salary is not enough, then the government have to do something about that. But it's easier just to say £100,000 a year isn't enough. I just think about it for a moment. How is it possible that the Prime Minister and his Chancellor can look at £100,000 a year and say, well, that's not enough money to live on, and wash their hands of the situation? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.